Bliss is no ordinary paint shop owner. While many may reject the idea of hiring felons, the man behind the mask welcomes them into his workplace. Some would consider it risky to employ former inmates, but what keeps people like Doug inspired to help the underdog?
If you try to put them into your system of thinking or the outside world's culture, they won't fit automatically. And the reason why is they were in prison, all right? And they went to prison because they didn't fit beforehand. If you think about this, if you can take one person who's been institutionalized off the street and bring them into our society, let's say a drug dealer, okay? He doesn't go back to the drugs and doesn't go back to dealing them. So this has a compounding generational effect. In other words, I'm helping our streets, our society, and I'm helping children, I'm helping parents, I'm helping families, because this drug dealer's not dealing anymore. And he has all the connections when he gets out. He knows how to do it. He knows the game. And it might be a month before he's caught, or a year, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years before he's caught doing it again. And if that's the case, how many lives has this individual destroyed? So this is it's a very proactive thing to do, because anyone who will take the time, and if we can take 1, 2, or if we get 4 out of 10 that come back into society, we've literally changed the trajectory of hundreds of lives and who they would influence for the negative. And I believe that. So that's why I do what I do. And maybe I'm a fool. That's okay. The most heartbreaking thing is, you know, these guys, they get out. I'm going to tear up a little bit here. I'm sorry. I didn't know I felt this emotional about it. But what they'll do is they get out of their cell, and then they create a cell wherever they live. And, you know, what does it take to get people out of prison? Because prison's an outward manifestation of what really is going on in their heart. I got a passion for this. So many hurting people. And there's hope. There's real hope. And we get busy and we just don't take the time to see it.
You can suit up and face your past, or you can bottle up inside and never forgive yourself for the things you've done wrong. But if you want to move on, it becomes easier when support is right at your side to guide you out of trouble. Guys like James had an easygoing childhood until the streets lured him into a world of drugs and alcohol.
And I was just hanging out with some friends, you know, and they decided that's what they wanted to go and do. I didn't think it was a good idea, but at that point, you know, I was so intoxicated that I was just like, whatever.
The school hallways are like street corners. Within a minute's time, drugs and money could pass from one pair of hands to the other. This was James Tanner's freshman year.
For a long time, I wanted to be a drug dealer. You know, that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't ashamed of it. I was proud of it, and that, you know, that's crazy, you know? I mean, who grows up and says, you know, I want to grow up to be a drug dealer, you know? But that's kind of the thing I was interested in, you know? And I had a very bad problem with alcohol. That was my way to cope with all my problems, you know, and I started that at a very young age, you know. I would have a problem with a girlfriend or something, and I would go and get intoxicated, you know, and then I'd wake up the next day, I wouldn't feel much better about it, so I'd get drunk again, and then I created this perpetual cycle that when something's not going right in my life, I'm gonna get drunk or use drugs, and that habit was a very hard habit to break.
James' parents had to figure out what to do with their son. That's when he found himself enrolled in military school.
The military school was a very good place. It seems like for that period of my life, every time I was put in a structured environment, I would do very good. When I got out and I was all on my own without the structure, it didn't take me very long to revert to my old, drinking, partying, selling drugs, and then,
You didn't think what you were doing was wrong?
to be honest,
Yeah.
with you, I lived that lifestyle, got in and out of jail multiple times, and I never thought I was doing anything wrong till I gave my heart to Jesus. Till I gave my whole life to Jesus. That's when I seen, wow.
So you're telling me you thought everything you did was okay?
I thought everything that I was doing, and you probably think this sounds insane, but I thought most of the things I was doing as far as the drug use, the partying, and things like that,
And the selling of drugs?
yeah, I thought that was just normal teenager, young adult, college kid type of stuff, man. And it sounds crazy, right? That sounds crazy. Yeah, absolutely. To
does.
me, saying it sounds crazy. And it just goes to show you how lost I was, man. And, I'm just very thankful my life isn't like that today. And, for, people whose lives are like that, it doesn't have to be like that. There is a hope, man. There is a hope.
Unlike Nicole, who changed her life after one prison sentence, James used to be what some would call a frequent flyer.
When I got out, I could always remember thinking in my head, this is what I would think. Oh man, I've been in here for so long. When I get out, it's not going to take very much and I'll be high. And that's what I would look forward to. But for the majority of my sentence, I'm trying to serve God. And my addiction was so strong, it had such a strong pull on me that it was like I was consumed, man. That was all I cared about, was getting high, and that was it.
James had enough faith to believe that someone would come along and give him another chance to get it right.
A lot of it came from, you can only go down the same road for a while, and it's like, man, there's got to be more. There's got to be more life, And, I was gotten to the Alpena Drug Court program, and I was having a really rough time when I first got into it. And, I just thank God that I met Doug Bliss. He was put into my life. He gave me a place to work, gave me employment. He mentored me. He worked with me. He constantly told me, I'm not giving up on you, James. You can do this. He started out as a mentor, and today he's my best friend. He's an amazing individual, and I hope that I can be that person for somebody else. I hope that I can be that person that says, hey, I'm not giving up on you. I'm going to help you. We're going to get through this. That's what I want.